discovery. Say it 5 times fast. So much pressure putting my face back on YouTube after such a long time. But here we go. Hey kittens, it's Megan, and today we are going to take a break from the epic shit show that has bled into 2021 and discuss a page-to-screen adaptation of A Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness. The novel was first published in 2011 and it was made into a TV show by Sky One back in 2018. The show has obviously been out since 2018, but they are only on season 2 and that is dropping tomorrow. So I figured I would do kind of a recap of what the first season was about, as well as discuss my thoughts on the adaptation. The story starts with Diana Bishop, a young scholar slash witch who accidentally summons an alchemical manuscript from the stacks of the Bodleian Library at Oxford. She wants nothing to do with being a witch, so she sends it back, not knowing that witches, vampires, and demons alike have been hunting for this book for centuries. They all start to come out of the woodwork and stalk Diana in the hopes that she'll summon it again and they can take it from her. Step in one brooding vampire named Matthew de Clermont. He is desperate to get his hands on this book, and he knows that staying close to Diana will help him achieve that goal. Well, vampires and witches are not supposed to love each other, but that doesn't stop them from starting to fall. Looking back, I gave this novel a very generous 4 out of 5 stars. When looking back, it was probably closer to a 3.5. When I approached A Discovery of Witches, I did it a little bit backwards. I watched the adaptation and then I read the book, and I am so glad I did. By doing that, I got exposed to the story in a more abridged fashion than the long, plodding book. I honestly only got through it because I was listening to the audiobook on my commute. The thing about page-to-screen adaptations is they have to add something to your viewing experience. I'm not talking about adding romance, different subplots, big blockbuster scenes. I'm talking about something that brings a new essence to the material. All too often, an adaptation will do one of 2 things. It will go through the story, hitting every single note, all of the different plot points, but it won't add anything to the story. Or they will completely change things that don't make any sense to the readers because they want to make it more palatable for viewers who will, watch these things. I feel like the TV show was a successful adaptation because it added so much enrichment to the source material by removing a lot of the tedium that was in the source material. I understand that when you are reading and writing a book, you're going to add things in there that would not be in a movie, because in a movie or a TV show, I should say, because every second in a TV show or movie counts. And so by removing all of this tedium, it's much more effective storytelling for the medium. That being said, the book was too long and could have been more effective by cutting out a lot. But that's just my opinion, guys. Have your own opinions and let me know what you think below, because this is kind of a controversial topic for readers. Is the adaptations, is the book better, TV show, film better, whatever? Let me know down below, but I digress. We're gonna get back into it. Moving on, we're gonna start talking about characters, and we're gonna start with Diana Bishop. When it came to Diana, I felt like the book turned her into a Mary Sue. And, we gotta avoid that dreaded Mary Sue territory, because seriously, a character who has the, trademark tragic backstory, is physically attractive, is the youngest professor at Yale to get tenure, all she eats is toast, she's very physically active, and the only thing that she's bad at is magic. That's her only flaw. You gotta give some realism to the character. Teresa Palmer, on the other hand, took this character and made her much more human. She was clumsy, she had flaws, she was scared of herself in a lot of ways, and I think that her acting really took those, cookie cutter edges and, roughed them up, made them more real. I mean, the character is still a girl wonder, you really can't change that because that's in the book, but it felt much more approachable. Now, Matthew de Clermont, on the other hand, spends most of the novel being tall, brooding, and mysterious. Where have we seen that before? Oh wait, in every single vampire lead in the last 20 years. He wants her, but he can't be with her, so he stalks her and he must resist his temptations, you know. It gets to be tedious. Matthew Good, on the other hand, manages to take this character and add some total awkwardness to the beginning. And, you know, that intensity to the point of doesn't understand the social interaction. It's kind of hilarious to me to watch those scenes. But, you know, he brings something different to the role. Where book Matthew kind of sweeps his awareness under the rug that what he is doing with Diana is wrong, Matthew in the television show, Matthew Good, who, it's very confusing, Matthew to Claremont Matthew Good, the actor Matthew does a great job of, you know, letting us see his struggle with what he's doing. Diana's aunts are probably two of my favorite characters in both the book and the show because they're hilarious. Sarah Bishop and Emily Mather are a lesbian couple who have raised Diana after her parents died. They're played by Alex Kingston and Valerie Pettiford, and oh my gosh, I love their chemistry. They manage to bring in that, you know, they love each other dearly, very close and intimate, but they're still gonna call each other out on their crap, and it's such an interesting dynamic to watch them bring that to life on screen. Emily is very much like the peacemaker, the gentle, loving parent, whereas, you know, Sarah's kind of a unhinged control freak in certain scenarios, but she will do anything to protect her family. And I think that the transition from page to screen on them was perfect. I feel like the casting was pretty spot on. I mean, one of the characters that I really enjoyed her characterization was Gillian Chamberlain, who was Louise Brealey, I believe is her name. She's from the show Sherlock. She's from so much more. I can't just quantify her as one role, but that's where most people are going to know her from, is playing Molly. But she did such an amazing job bringing in that little edge of jealousy that Gillian has for Diana and her abilities, and made it feel very realistic. Owen Teal, I think is how you pronounce his last name, as Peter Knox. Oh my gosh, I wanted to punch him in his face. He was that good as being the villain, and I really enjoyed that. I think that overall, the television show for me was better than the book, and I know that's kind of a controversial stance to take on these kind of things, but I want to hear from you guys. If you've seen the show or you have read the book, what is your opinion? Would you give the other one a try? And I really want to know from you guys down below. Just comment, we'll have a discussion. I think that the adaptation took the tone of the book and amped it up, made it better in the show, because it wasn't such a drawn out, you're staying in the same tone. The show brought you up, down into these different nuances in the story rather than, you know, monotonous. Honestly, I think that the pacing in the show worked a lot better than in the book. I think I've mentioned this like twice already. The book was way too long, and by shortening and cutting things out, it made it so much more palatable to me. And I hate saying something like that about a book, because the author, Deborah Harkness, put so much into it. She's a historian, and you can tell in the writing because of her descriptions. Now, I think that world building is all well in the books. You have to trim out some of the excess, because your average reader isn't going to want to know all of the different nuances of specific century architecture when it has no real bearing in the story itself. So I think the transition from the book to the TV show made that a very good choice by cutting all of that out. That's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed the little break from the chaos that is going on in the world. And if you guys like these bookish videos, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!